Oh, well, look at this. Would you like to come for tea? Okay, you're invited. Use your manners. Would you like to sit over there? You could, or would you like to sit up in that bird feeder? You know, if you sit in the bird feeder, you might like your view. It's pretty bright here, but I was going to play the violin and listen to the sound of the snow, the melting snow dripping. The melting snow dripping off the roof. Now, how do you really say that? The water is dripping off the roof, but what is that water? It's meltage, right? So you're listening to the sound of the falling meltage. There, I like that. That's meltage music. Inching into spring. Spring moves north at 15 miles a day. So, where did spring start? If spring is down there in Georgia right now, and it's 1,000 miles to Georgia, 15 miles a day would take how many days? How many times does 15 go into 1,000? 15 goes into 1000. So you have to add a 0. And it's going to be, no, you don't have to add a 0. 15 goes into 1,000. So how many times does 15 go into 100? Well, I thought I could hear something. The children have a game called My Singing Monsters, and it's the cutest game ever. You got all these cute little monsters, and they're each doing something like humming a note in some sort of beat. And you get all these different monsters together, and they're all on the same beat. And it's just the cutest thing because they're all different tones. It may be all A. I don't know, but anyway, it's very cute. And then you can compose your own. You could put your own, you get your own staff. Now, wait a minute, is the staff the mark at the end, right? The big loopy ampersand, backwards ampersand? That's that and the numbers and the colon, or the parenthesis and colon, or backwards. I don't remember. I have to look at it. But anyway, and then you've got a measure. So they got the lines coming down. Those are the bars or measures. Well, what is the whole chart called? You know, you're composing on composition paper. Is that what it is? But it's not paper. So composition what? I wish I could see what you guys are saying, if you're saying anything at all. But it's blinding out here. But I'd rather be blind and in this beautiful light than be able to read it and be in the darkness. So there. So you missed a really nice campfire. We had a campfire in the teepee this morning. It was very nice. Now it's 1:30 or 1:45. So we're completely done with the morning. I'm just getting into stuff. I'm just getting ready to do something. That's a nice change. It's because it's a beautiful day. The sunshine does good things to me. Anyway, so I've been working my way through this pile of birch bark, trying to make things according to whatever size piece I have, and seeing what are the possibilities with it. You know, I had one of these big round cylinders off of a tree. It was about a foot tall, and it was quite wide. It was about 10 inches wide inside. And it had a hole in it, and it was looking pretty rough. And so I made a floor for it. I figured out the size of the bottom, and I made a piece that could just squish just barely inside it. And then I connected it, I guess. Anyway, so it's got this wooden floor, and then there was a big hole now down near the bottom, so I put this patch on it, which is only attached at the bottom, but it's so stiff and thick and old that it's not going anywhere. And that's a garbage can now. I think it's pretty cool. I like having nature all over my house. The nature part is, I mean, the only part of nature that needs to really stay outside is the water and the snow and the bugs and the animals. Everything else can be inside. Plants and sticks and, all kinds of stuff can be inside. I like that idea of paneling with birch bark. I'm having ideas about birch bark. Maybe I should panel and then hang my teacups through the birch bark and hang my mugs. You remember my mug collection? Well, I'm 67, and if that mug collection is going to ever be displayed, it has to be displayed now. We can't wait in 20 years or until some convenient time or place. Like, what's that going to be? Maybe I should display them in the studio. They're so cool. They're so cool. They're from every place I've ever been. Plus, lots of them were press trips, and others are just places I've been otherwise. But whenever I go places, I bring home a mug, and sometimes I bring home a few mugs because I hope that you haven't missed a whole lot of what I said. But I mean, it's not the end of the world if you did. But it was the major one. It was said put it on low battery power or plug it up. So I put it on low battery power because plugging it up takes a lot more energy than it used to. I think that there's this period, this transitional period, where you go from being middle age to old age. There's this transitional period. It's almost like being a teenager, between being a child and an adult. So it's very in limbo kind of a place where you're getting new pains or new medical problems, and you're less able to do all the normal things. Everything takes a little longer. You need to sit down more. Everything is changing, and yet there's no exact reason for it. Usually you can say, oh, well, I ran really hard yesterday, so that's why my legs hurt. A, if then. But now things have changed. Things that didn't used to make you hurt now after all this time. And then there's so many things that the physical body is undergoing. A lack of moisture, so the joints and the everywhere, the whole body is not as it's the skin is thinning and falling off, and all the teeth are decaying and the eyes are getting, but the big thing is your muscle mass and your bone structure, and all those things are changing too. So your ligaments and your muscles are not like they used to be. It's not that you've stopped exercising and suddenly you're falling apart. It's a thing that just is going to happen because you pass a number on the existence scale, and then things are just like clockwork, like dominoes, like slow moving dominoes. That's what it's like. Aging. And so the further away you get from 60 or from maybe 58 or something, you get to this point where you you know things are not as easy as they were. Maybe it's 65, maybe it's 60, maybe it's a lot earlier than ever, maybe it's 40. But you get to this place between where everything worked well and where things don't work so good. And so there's an adjustment. You have to adjust the way you're thinking. Are you now going to focus on regaining all that former strength and, uh, you know, muscle mass and bone health? And are you now, because, like it wasn't important when we were young, right? We don't really care about any of that because we think, oh, that's not going to happen to me, because most of the time things don't happen to you. But this aging thing is going to happen to you. It is in your future. You are like, my father used to say, Nancy, you're like somebody that fell off the roof of the skyscraper and you're passing the fourth floor, waving at the people inside and saying, nothing's happened to me yet. That's the way life is. We're going on through this. Yes, you're old. We'll put mother in a home. Yes, well, now my kids are looking at us like, we don't need a home yet. They don't really have, you see, I haven't accepted my slowing down. And I think it's a gradual process. As your ability to do things decreases, generally the distance away you are now from when it really worked well, right? Like you could do chin-ups, right? At one point. Before I got new hips, I couldn't I couldn't do I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move much. I really had lost all of my mobility. If you give me a wheelchair and I could do everything, but I couldn't do anything with my hips. And so, what a surprise to get it fixed. And all of a sudden, you can do all these things again. I remember being a mother of young children. And when the children got old enough, they went to school. And when they were at school, somebody was riding a bicycle, and I was like so many years away from having ridden a bicycle. It's like, can I still ride a bicycle? I'm so many pounds heavier. I've been lifting and carrying children all the time, and my body is a wreck compared to what it was. And can I really ride a bike? And then I started riding my bike. The kids would be at school and I'd ride over to my friend's house in southern Ontario, where all the blocks are 1.25 miles wide and long. So everything is in blocks. Well, I've lost that conversation. That topic is gone. Isn't it lovely to have sunshine? Oh my God, I miss the sunshine. I miss sitting outside rocking in my rocking chair. So anyway, did you get what I was trying to explain? It's all about accepting it. And there comes a time when you've accepted your age and you're ready to live within the confines that your body puts up for you. You don't decide when your body puts up a confine, you don't decide, well, I'm going to exercise my way out of that. You get to a point where you can accept the needs of your body currently, the amount of exercise your body really needs. Do you really need to go to the gym and or do you just need to walk around cutting grass and building grass huts, lugging a few logs from time to time, big bundles of cattails, big bundles of sedge grass. big bundles of tussock sedge. I didn't harvest much of that last year. So this is the year of the cattails, you know. I've said that to you many times, so you mustn't forget it. And you may even remind me of it when I have completely forgotten that that's what I'm doing, because that is the way an ADHD brain is. It does not have storage capacity. It is not a warehouse. It's neither a warehouse for dates and plans and events, nor is it a warehouse for all the unimportant details. Sometimes people's names get lumped into the unimportant details category. Faces don't. So, at what age do you accept your limitations? Right now. Now is the time to accept them. However, I think that habit, the more days you try to get up and it's difficult, or when it becomes difficult to get up out of a chair all the time, or when it hurts if you try and pick up something, I think it's like burning your hand on the stove. Once you burned your hand on the stove, you know what happens when you get close to it. And so we begin to adapt, right? I've accepted the fact that a 5-pound bag of sugar is too heavy. It's too heavy. I can pour it, but I really shouldn't be lifting it to pour it. I should now be dipping into it. You know, these interesting changes. Is this gone dead? Oh, there you are, Nancy. Has anybody said anything, or are we alone? Let's see. Oh, what is it? There's someone said something. It's yellow. So is that? Can't see it. Tyler. Hi, Tyler. Ta-dam, ta-dam. Nice to see you, Tyler. I go to all this trouble to talk to all of you friends, and nobody has said anything. I'm so grateful for you, Tyler. And Regina, I know that you would be writing if you could, as I suppose others are. You know, I've been going back through my comments, and I'm now back to 8 years ago. I'm sorry I never answered these comments. There's so many comments I never read. These are all new comments, unanswered. So now I've responded to everything that I received up until 8 years ago. It's pretty cool, eh? And now I'm working my way through that. But it's interesting to see how many people there are who only ever responded once or twice, or commented once or twice. And there's others who have commented for years, but they've changed their name. And I was able the other day to recognize somebody comments from this one and put these two together and realize this was the same person. It takes a little bit of figuring out. I have a general idea of who you guys are. And when I go back to the comments and I go to the sort thing, and I can see all the comments by a certain person or with a certain word. And so if I discover someone that I haven't seen around for a while, if I discover a comment by them, sometimes I will search for all the comments from them. And it's wonderful because I get to see the conversations we've had and remember these details that I've been given through the ages and put them together with somebody who has other history, or, you know. I know where they are and how old their kids are and, you know, whatever craft it is we're talking about. And then there's all these other things. Sometimes you guys are so kind to me. You say such uplifting things. Did somebody just drive in? No. Wow, is it ever nice? What a beautiful day. I should probably go for a walk. But I would rather sit here and absorb all the sunlight. And maybe even play my violin. I did go for a walk today already. Meltage. And tinnitus. Just sounds like katydids. Or cicadas, or whatever they're called. They're just crickets, you know, they're just making that sound. There's a whole lot of them. But that's okay because they're very nice. It's like it's summer when the cicadas are out. The katydids. And then there's the airplane. And there's traffic. Because we're on top of a hill, which is shaped like a cone with some trees on it, but somehow you really hear the sounds of the road. But you see, we're also, the road sort of circles our area. Down there at the bottom of the hill, we're on a curve. And so we're hearing it when it's coming around this side of the hill, and then when it's down in the front of the hill, and then as it goes along the other side of the hill. Because there's a road that's opening up the sound, and there's also our view behind the shady deck. Is that Nan? I only see a size of writing. Oh, yeah. See what it says. Hello. Can't read it. My eyes are so bad. These floaters are so many. One more thing, typical. I'm just not used to not being able to read it. Once I get used to not being able to read it, it'll be fine, right? That's the thing, is getting used to it and not having false expectations, thinking that you're always going to see like you used to see when things look clear and you could just see them. Things are changing and you got all these floaters now and they just really block out the view. And they don't go away with the cataract surgery. Those things are in the eyeball or on the retina or something like that. Or they broke off from the retina and they're floating around. Floaters. But they're not on the surface. You can't wash them away. The anatomy lessons I'm learning. Yes, indeed. Every time I have some new problem, I ask all the questions. I want to know all about it. And see the stuff they can see on the computers about it, especially at the eye doctor. Used to be old people were old people. Now old people are us. I'm just not ready yet. I'm just trying to... Hi!
Hey.
Are we about to go?
Yeah, it didn't bother wash my hair.
Okay, let me put my violin inside.
Okay.
Unless you want me to play for you on the way.
Well, you're driving, so maybe not.
Okay, just a second. Willem?
He's gone out to get groceries.
Oh, yes, I remember that. So what did you guys say here? condensation. That was Sue's. Hello, Ty. So I'm going to go to the dump, the dump, the dump. Oh, I think I have a few things. We're taking it to the dump. The dump, the dump, the dump. Well, if I'm driving, I have all this black on me from the wonderful campfire. I think I need my keys. And it appears we have a low battery. Keys, 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 keys. Look at all the keys. Okay. So, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? Were you with me all there outside? Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.